The year is late 2010. It's cold outside, but keeping me warm is my overheating Alienware laptop. Why am I outside? To steal my neighbor's internet and play one of the greatest browser games to ever exist, RuneScape. There was just something about the way that this game looked. It burned itself into the back of my mind forever. Chopping trees, fishing, doing quests, getting lured out into the wilderness for the first time and killed. It was all great, but now I'm just left thinking, is there anything that could ever give an old man like me that joy again?
Hey, listen up, pal. That was a long time ago. You can't live in the past forever.
I thought that too, until I was scrolling on Steam the other day and found this. Flyknight is a first-person dungeon crawler Souls-like that looks really similar to RuneScape, font and all. I'll be honest, I'm not really much of a dungeon crawler player, so besides the graphics, I was not interested in this game. That is, until I watched the trailer and saw something that would make me buy any game at all, really, fishing. But we'll get to the fishing stuff later. First, I want to talk to you about this silly little bug fighting game. Flyknight starts with a character creator, which is pretty simple. Choose armor leg day, hue shift, it's pretty much all you need anyways. To be honest, I'll really take anything that lets me self-insert as a beady orange-eyed freak. Then, through a Kingdom Hearts-style intro, you wake up in a crazed state of bloodlust and you just start beating the hell out of anything you see. This is you when you call me lame. My kind of game. It's not really until later where you start interacting and learning about the backstory, which we'll also get to. The first time I actually attacked something, I immediately knew it was going to be a little weird to get used to. Did I die? There's this drag to the melee weapons where you can't really just sit there and spam your attacks. The mace you start with actually feels like it has some weight to it, which isn't really an issue because all the weapons you come across start to feel really unique because of this. Eventually I got to replace my weapon with a leak I found, but this is stupid. This is the stupidest weapon in history. It sucked, so like the woke low-T male I am, I gravitated back towards the double daggers, which were actually really fun to use. I'm not sure how rare they are, but they dropped pretty early, so it was nice to get that sense of, okay, there's going to be different types of weapons in this game. But it's not just melee stuff, there's bows and arrows, which helped a lot for ranged enemies. There's some spells you can get, like a burst of wind that kind of pushes enemies around, and some vines that shoot up out of the ground, which damages them. The combat isn't all just about the weapons, though, because with Flyknight, it does something pretty unique, which is limb-based combat. You can continuously aim at a body part, and sometimes it'll just come right off. I knocked his damn head off! Just like in real life, bugs are disgusting, nasty, foul creatures, so losing a head might not mean very much. But enough about that, because it's time to go fishing. After finding my way to a bonfire to save, there was this old bug sitting in front of the lake who gives me a fishing rod. This is it. This was the moment I was waiting for. Oh my god. Look at this. Wow. And at this point, you're probably thinking, wow, you know, it is nice that Flyknight included a break to the constant fighting all the time. Get back here! Huh? Also, the fishing rod bugged afterwards, but look at how cute this catch is. Can you really look at this little banana fish and be mad?
Yes, this game was $6 entire.
You greedy bastard. Speaking of bastards, there's actually a lot of them in this game, and that includes the first enemy that gave me trouble, this wasp guy who destroyed me over and over and over again. Get up, get up, get up, get up, get up! We need to run. But in this game, you can actually walk to the side and dodge, something I'm not used to doing because I'm over the age of 25. I did the noble thing by cutting off his limbs and stealing his armor, and the armor in this game actually has special stats, but I just used whichever defense was highest because numbers are scary and I like fashion souls. Alright, so at this point we've gotten a good feeling for the gameplay, but what about the story? Why am I a nasty little fruit fly with no wings fighting other bug soldiers? Get off of me! It turns out that all of the Flyknights have had their wings stolen by a character named the Lunamoth. The old guy we met earlier points you towards Lunamoth's lair, and here you'll find most of the game itself. Eventually you come to a campfire and meet this vagrant fly who had his wings stolen away from him from the evil curse of the Lunamoth. Because I have no friends to play with, I asked him to join me, and he shot me down, so you know what, F this character, I hope he never gets his wings back. You think you're so tall and stuff, and no one cares. Okay? You can't even, you have to duck when you go in an airplane, so F you. Anyways, after some traversing around, you meet this other bug next to another bonfire, usually where you meet most of the NPCs. Remember the wasp guy that kicked my ass earlier? This guy kind of looks like him, but his name is Vesper Hideyoshi. He reveals to us that the Lunamoth has taken his race captive and he wants to free them. but he's not happy to be allying with wingless filth like us. To be honest, I'm not really sure why he still has his wings, but no one else does. Maybe he's just been able to defend himself because wasps are scary. I have no idea. This guy looks like an asshole. Just look at his face. He looks like a dickhead. There are some minor characters you'll talk to after this point that drop hints about the story, but the basis is kind of the same. Your wings were stolen by the witch Lunamoth. Between some bosses and relaxing fishing moments, catching carrotfish, eventually you run into Callum, the dragonfly dragoon. This is your master, and he kind of looks like a badass. He doesn't really seem to care about a lot though. He calls you a weak coward and to retreat. If you retreat, you are a bitch, let's be honest. Which is a little weird considering that earlier you see another Flyknight retreating and getting killed for doing it. But who cares about that, because it's time to go fishing again. Someone in my chat mentioned that the reason the fish are fruits is because I'm a fruit fly. Whether or not that's true, it's the lore now, so get over it. After killing a giant plant boss, we meet Callum again, who keeps telling me to go home and that the operation is a failure. Honestly, what's wrong with this guy? Why is he being such a bitch? The game really tries to sell its looking bleak lore by making you fight your fallen friend Flyknights whose corpses are being controlled by the Lunamoth's curse. It's pretty brutal and sad, and actually, to be honest, these guys got really annoying. I stopped feeling bad, kill all of them. Now we're getting to an entrance where one of the nameless Flyknights reveals that Callum is a dirty traitor, and the order to fight the Lunamoth is very corrupt. This seemed pretty obvious considering his push to get us to retreat for most of the game, but the upcoming fight against him was actually pretty fun. Unfortunately though, and maybe this is just to solo buffs, from here on out the game felt relatively easy. You can't convince me that these hammers are not the best weapon in the game, especially after I bashed Callum's head in with one. You also get to collect and wear his sick dragoon armor, which is something I actually really enjoy about this game. It feels to me really immersive when you get specific drops from characters important to the lore. We get to wear his betraying armor. The hammer still looks stupid, but you know, it's fun. I also remember this time where I was fighting two wasps at once, and one wasp pulls a samurai sword thing, and you fight two of them, so in the chest that they're guarding, you get two samurai swords, you can dual wield them. And it's just a nice attention to detail, and I really like it. Look at this. Dual katanas. At this point in the game, there's a lot of these fallen soldier enemies, which felt a little boring and tedious to fight. I know that there's certain weapons that do good against them, but there was just a lot, and it was the same ones over and over, so I ended up running past a lot of them because I have a TikTok attention span brain. No! I got swarmed, okay? I got swarmed, not my fault. After exploring Lunamoth's castle a bit more, this guy comes back and wants to fight us again. I don't, is he racist? Like, what's wrong with this guy? Honestly, I have no idea. He's just like Wasp in real life. They're assholes for no reason. We cut his head off, and almost immediately after entering a cathedral, we're right outside of Lunamoth's domain. Before going into the boss door though, you meet Vagrant Fly. And at this point, I kind of felt like he was going to betray us like everyone else has, but fortunately, he's the only real one in this messed up world.
Didn't you say earlier you hope he never gets his wings back?
Oh, hey, let's not dig up the past, all right? Anyways, it's time for the climax of all games, the last boss fight. The Lunamoth boss fight was actually pretty fun. She has all sorts of different spells, and at this point, it's not really that hard, but it's still pretty fun. She actually has this one spell that makes you admit that you're a bug f***er on live stream. Wait, she's kind of like, you know, like she's not that bad, you know? She's a bug? Well, you guys never seen the Spider Girl from Monster Musume? I definitely didn't say that though. I didn't mean saying that. After you kill her, you learn that Lunamoth wants the power of space to rule the world and replace the moth deity that lives on the moon. What the hell's going on with this story? To get to the moon, she wanted to take all the wings from all the other bugs, and that's kind of the gist of Flyknight, with a kind of cliffhanger ending. This story at first is pretty simple, so someone 8-brained like myself can comprehend it, which I like. It's interesting, it's not super stale, the dialogue makes sense for the characters, and there are even points in the story where NPCs will interact a bit with the gameplay, like joining you briefly in a fight until they die. Alright. I know that for those of you who have already played Flyknight, or you've seen other people playing it, you might have noticed that it was a multiplayer experience. I played it solo, and I might have missed out on some multiplayer stuff, so I'm not going to talk about that because I don't know how it is. I'm sure it's fun. You might be wondering if I think this game is worth it, and to be honest, for how cheap it is, I think it's worth a pickup if you're wanting a new charming Souls-like and you want to support a small indie dev. Also, I hate bugs, but this is the second bug game I played this year that's been peaked, so I don't know what's going on. I hate this game! Thank you to the patrons this month as always, and if you're looking for new games and really want to experience something weird, check out this video where I talk about the Wild West of Steam's unknown indie games. Isn't it sad? I bought the $100 version of Multiverses, and then I got on, and people made fun of me because they solved my animated border, so I took off the animated border, and then I played it for like a week, and I never played it again, and I just wasted $100.